Hi everyone. Today, instead of going live, I have this pre-recorded video of a card created with Sizzix and Lindy's that will premiere on my channel, and I will be active right here on the chat for us to chat along. So for this card first, let's build our background with some stencil layers and the Lindy's Magicals. I will be using the Sizzix set. Let me quickly show you which set that is. It's this one with 4 stencils, and I will be playing with at the most 2 designs. These are the 2 that I have removed, and we'll see how it goes. So first I am going to place my stencil on my cardstock. So that's a regular white cardstock that I use for my card making. It's 110 pounds and it's A2 size, that is 4¼ by 5½ inches. For my Lindy set, I am playing with Garden Chronicles and we'll be creating something fun. Now I want to use the yellow for my sun and keep the teal for those clouds basically, and then of course my butterfly. So what I'm thinking is I'll start in with the peony party pink and we'll see if I can add violet, bloom, banter, or mix some colors to create a background. Now I definitely need my water mister handy, so I have my bottle right here. And first up, actually, I'm going to spritz this with water so that when I sprinkle the Lindy's Magical, there's already water for it to be activated. Now this comes in this shaker bottle and I am gently tapping and sprinkling the magical powder through the stencil, and I will again spritz with water so that it gives me that design through and through. Now when playing with a technique like this and creating, I would say have another piece of cardstock handy. I will first go ahead and add another color maybe, although I did say we'll keep this for the clouds. Let's add a little because it's going to create a nice blend of colors. Just a tad bit here and there, overlapping at a few places, and go ahead and spritz it with water, and I'll just let it do its thing, and that's pretty much what I want. Now I will lift it and I have color here, so I am actually going to set this panel aside, let it dry naturally, and what I'll do is bring out this other panel and turn this around and place it to get the negative impression. Just place a paper napkin and dab a little to press it, and then lift it off, and I have 2 wonderful backgrounds ready. So that's one, and then of course our first one. I am going to let these naturally dry and then continue on with my next layers. My panels have dried and I think they look so beautiful as they are. Just look at the beautiful stencil pattern on them. And because I don't want my background to be so busy, I am not going in with another stencil. I'm going to leave it at this and prepare my paper for my die cut elements. For the elements, I am using 2 die sets, just the butterfly from this set and then the sun and the clouds from this set, to create a whimsical looking card. So I have pieces of cardstock cut here, keeping that in mind, and I am now going to start coloring them with my Lindy's. So let's start with the butterfly. Now there are two pieces, one the outline, one the detail layers for the wings. And the outline I will color in with the pink. Now I can leave it as it is, or I can go in with my paintbrush and blend it out a little bit so that I have it covered all throughout. And since this is only the outline, I am not going to worry too much, except that I have color throughout, as only that portion is going to be visible. So that's for my outline. Next up, I am going in with Violet Bloom Banter. Now this is the main pieces, so I am going to spritz and make sure that I have good coverage to get nice wings. And I'm not worried about blending it completely. I like that rainbow that it's creating with the pink, the blue, the purple. So I'm going to leave it just this, like this, and then let it dry and then die cut the layers. Since these are pigment powders, I make sure to clean my mat before starting another color in order to avoid contamination or muddy looking panels. Now for the cloud, I want one big and two small. I am going to spritz for the topmost detail layer first. Let's do that. So I'm going in with the teal trellis tails. The topmost layer needs to be more vibrant. The bottom layer, I want that to be lighter. So what I'm actually going to do now is, with this, holding it right here, I have enough here. I'll spritz that with water and lift it on my paper, whatever little that comes up, kind of like ink smooshing. And without cleaning my brush, I will just color that in so that I get a tinted background, and I can pick pigment right from here and randomly do that. Just pick a little extra because I just need a little wash of color for the background. You could also do another thing, that is just spritz water on your work surface, whatever mat or palette. Sprinkle the magicals and then mix it with water for custom watercolors, and then go in with that. That also just changes the look, and you can already see these two now look different. Now onto my sun, the outline layer and some layers that go right in the center. I am going to use vintage vines just for that. outermost layer. I will use my paintbrush and blend this one a little bit. Of course, it's more brownish, greenish vibes. At a few places there's more blue, but that's okay, it doesn't really matter. It's a different look for the outline layer, and I can really swing with it, creating some whimsical looking sun. So I'm going to set this right here on the side, clean my mat, and then the last bit that I need to do is these top layers that make the sun rays, as well as some of those layers for the center. For this I'm going to use Daffodil Drama and bring in the yellow, and because I am again sprinkling it, I'm sure it has other pigment and magic that it's going to create on its own. It has a lot of gold shimmer, which is really good. It's going to give us that glow for our sun rays. So now I am going to dry all of this and then die cut the pieces so that I can assemble them and put the card together. And now time to glue the layers together. I have already die cut these pieces, and all I have to do is put the layers together. So I will be using my Sizzix Express glue for that, and I have actually also put the same glue in this fine tip nozzle bottle, just so that when I have smaller pieces it's easy for me to use. First, let's put the layers for the sun together. So I am going to start with the center and then move to the sun rays. So as I'm gluing the layers, I want to tell you that we will have a giveaway for Lindy's $25 voucher, and it will happen after the video is completed premiering. From the comments, I will, as always, draw a random winner, and you get a $25 voucher to shop at the Lindy's store. Right? Also in the description box, I have the links to these products. Again, these are affiliate links and come at no extra cost to you. I am very thankful for everyone using those, and I appreciate each one of you. Now this is all just standard gluing that you're seeing here, just normal ordinary uh, overlay on the background and using the liquid glue and putting everything down. With the sun rays, it's easy or a good idea to first dry fit the layers, just to make sure that the overlays match the background rays, and then once you have everything in place, glue it down. So that just makes it easy. And I also want to mention about Altenew's August class, which is Sunshine in Motion, all about interactive cards. And so here you've seen the spinner card. I was recently asked to teach a lesson in that class. So I have two fun cards there as well, both interactive cards. And if you haven't already signed up, the link to that class is in the description box below as well. So you could check that out. The kit, of course, includes some products that are being released in August. So you get those products as well as a class to see those products in action. Liz is teaching a lesson in that class. So, there are going to be some mind blowing interactive cards. And Therese is doing the live class for this particular one with more cards. So, it's just a nice way of seeing how some products, the same kit, can be stretched to create different scenes and different ways of making your cards interactive. So, if that's something that interests you, then I suggest checking that out. Next week, Friday, I will be creating live using Altenew's August release products. So, it will be a good showcase of those products, and I will, as always, show you my card samples that I created using those, but we'll be creating something different during the live. And apart from that, my upcoming classes are also linked in the description box, so you could check those out if you wish to. Now, have you played with Lindy's or any other pigment powders? Do you enjoy using those? I like this, where you create little panels, little swatches, and then go and die cut and put these elements together for fun scene. I like painting with them. I had recently created a sunset scene painting with Lindy's. It's on my Instagram, and that is enjoyable too. Um, and a variety of things, like even just painting floral clusters, I think it's fun. Now, this set that I'm using today has a lot of shimmer, so it works very well for a technique like this where, I've just sprinkled it on and die cut, and we have the shine and shimmer. I like the flats and the latest set, Everlasting Brights from Cat Care. That's flat, which means that there is no shimmer mica. And that set, those are the primary colors. But any flat set is lovely for painting, just using like your watercolors to paint a floral cluster, to paint a background, anything really. So I quite enjoy doing that as well. I would love to hear if you enjoy using pigment powders, and have you recently used any pigment powders? That would be interesting to know. Just look at how they come to life with all the layers together with that beautiful shimmer and shine. All set for the whimsical scene that I have in mind. So let's bring our card panel out. I am going to use this particular background, the one where I just flipped over the stencil and took the remaining color, because this one seems to be a little too busy for the elements here. So I will use this a later time, but I already have a background handy to create something else when I put together other elements. So now with this, I went ahead and trimmed my white panel to 4 by 5¼ and matted it on a black panel, which is 4¼ by 5½. And now I will just adhere the elements. So first, just doing a dry run. Now the sun goes all the way till the edges, till the black outline. Like I said, this is a whimsical scene, so it's not something that is going to be too realistic. uh, it's just a whimsical imaginary scene that I'm building. So my butterfly is going to stay in the clouds, right? Now I have this spinner here. So this would be the large size from Spellbinders. And the idea is that I want to adhere my butterfly to the spinner so that once it's down in place, I just turn it and it spins throughout. That is what I want to do. Now, I think it's just a really nice idea to put it right here in between these three clouds, right in the middle of the sun. I quite like that, but just slightly maybe offset, something like that. That is what I have in mind. So I am now quickly going to glue these layers. I'm not using any foam dimension. I will just first I am tucking the clouds underneath a few layers, so these two I will not adhere down. I will apply glue to the other parts of the sun rays. So since I had already dry fit the elements and I know what goes where, it just makes it easy to adhere them and create a composition. A tip that I'd like to share here that I use a lot is, once I've dry fit a composition, I actually take a picture of it, and when I see the photo, I can tell if it's working, if I want to change anything. Plus, I can then refer to the photo when adhering these elements down and gluing them. So that helps too. So, like I mentioned, I left those two rays without glue, and I am just tucking in the clouds beneath that. And once I have the clouds in place, I can then add glue to those sun rays and glue it down as well. It's just, you know, a way to tuck elements and create foreground and background without actually using foam tape. So you can see it's just by tucking elements underneath, and that particular cloud, it's just partially tucked behind the sun rays and then it sits above the rays. So it really creates nice depth and illusion. I think that works for a card like this. So just basically laying all those elements down in place, making sure everything is adhered well. I take my time with this, especially because it's liquid glue. It gives us a little wiggle room to move things around slightly, and it's important to let it just rest and stay there so it can dry well, because I definitely don't want anything falling apart when this card is given out to somebody. We really want things to stay adhered and be all glued onto the card. So even the spinner, I am going to use liquid adhesive and just glue that onto my card base. So just adding a little glue on the base, placing the spinner. I will just adhere this with the same express glue right there, and I'm going to leave it as it is to first settle down, dry out before I come and test that element. Now for the sentiment, I used one of Vicki's sets from the previous release and I chose Hello. The shadow layer I cut with black, tying it in with my black mat, and then this panel came in handy to die cut that sentiment, the top portion, so it matches with my colors. Plus now I have a little window cut out. I can actually matte it over black, something like this, and I cut just the inner layer maybe, and have another card just with that. So just two ways to using that. And then time for the reveal. Let's spin the butterfly just like that. I love how that makes it for a nice interactive card. So here's a closer look at that shine, shimmer, the layers, the detail, and just a whimsical card with different layers. I hope you have enjoyed this video today and I was able to inspire you with some simple ideas that you can use in your crafting journey. Until the next time, take care and bye-bye.